Have you wanted to go on more cruises, but it's not in the budget?
Well, stick around and we'll show you how you can cruise on a budget. I'm Jordan.
I'm Amy,
And
we are Beyond the Dock.
Timing is everything when booking a cruise. The best time to book a cruise is during wave season. Wave season is January through March, and it gets its name because this is when a wave of deals comes in from the cruise lines. They often will offer discounts, or they could do buy one, get one, or kids cruise free. There's a lot of different deals that come in at the beginning of the year. And they do this because people just spent a bunch of money on Christmas. They might not have a lot of discretionary funds left over to start booking cruises. And that's why the wave season is a great time to book a cruise. Another great time to go on a cruise is during shoulder season. Shoulder season is non-peak times like early fall and right after school starts. Hurricane season goes from June through November. And so that's typically fewer cruisers are out there, and that's why this is a better time to go on a cruise. You just do need to be flexible with your dates.
Yeah, and be forewarned that they may change the itinerary. We had that happen. We planned an MSC cruise to the Eastern Caribbean, and they let us know right as we were boarding the ship that they changed the itinerary to Mexico. I guess there was a tropical storm they were keeping an eye on and decided it would be best to head west.
Yeah, they sent us to the Western Caribbean instead of Eastern Caribbean. We're really sad because this was one of our dream itineraries. We had a lot of great stops, and we were looking forward to each one of those. And instead we went to Mexico and stops that we weren't that excited about. We hadn't really planned on cruising there before, so it was a little disappointing, but it was still a fun cruise. So peak hurricane season is in September, and that's when we had booked that cruise, was in September. So be aware that you might not get what you want during those times. Another great way to get a deal on a cruise is to look for a last minute cruise. Last minute cruises are typically 90 to 60 days out. They used to be a lot more plentiful right after COVID. But now, because more and more people are going on cruises every year, it's harder to get some really good deals, although they still do exist. You can go to sites like Cruise Critic or Cruise Plum or Vacations to Go. They all have 90-day last minute deals that you can follow along. With last minute deals though, you do need to be flexible on your dates. You probably won't get the exact week that you're looking to go, but you could probably get something around that time. Another great way to get a good deal on a cruise is to book early. You may think the best way to get a deal is to wait till the last minute to book because you're probably thinking the cruise line's not full and they want to fill up their ship. With over 37 million people going on a cruise in the Caribbean last year, waiting till the last minute might not be a great deal, but booking early, you can often get the best prices available. On the next cruise we're going on, we had booked this 19 months ahead, so we got a pretty good deal on it. And I just checked the prices early. If we were to book now, which the cruise is 90 days away, we would be paying about $340 more per person. That's within that 90-day window for a last minute cruise, not such a great deal. Another thing I looked at was the prices from a year ago and now. And on the new ships, because they're so popular, they fill up 100%. So because they fill up, cruise lines aren't going to offer great discounts later on. The best discount is in the beginning to start filling the ship early. So one example is I just read a comment someone posted. They just got off a cruise that they had booked the year before, and they booked the exact same cruise and same room for a few months ahead, and they're paying 80% more than what they paid a year ago.
Wow.
And that is on a newer ship. So prices are going up. It's best to lock in prices early as possible.
Also be aware that ship and cabin choices matter. Do you cruise for the ship or do you cruise for the destination? I could care less about the ship. I'm all about the destinations. I don't mind being on an older ship. If it's a better deal, that means more cruises. I know you care a little more about the ship. He likes the cool ship. So it depends on what you're looking for. But if you find a ship that's a little older, maybe a little smaller, it's usually a better deal. For an example, we have a cruise booked this June that's about twice as much on a brand new ship as another one we're doing a family cruise on in April of 26. It's a little bit older ship and it's half the price. Same stops. Also, some cruise lines are a lot less money. For example, we've got MSC, Costa, Carnival, usually a little less money. And to be honest, I don't mind any of those. So just depends on what you're looking for. Also, if you have an inside cabin, it usually costs quite a bit less than a balcony or a suite room. So be aware that that can also play a major role in your budgeting. We've had all different rooms, and I know we prefer a balcony, but an interior room's just fine if that's what you need to make it happen. I originally thought I might be a little claustrophobic, but it wasn't bad. It's dark, makes it easy to sleep, not so bad.
Booking a guaranteed room means that you get a room for a specific category, but the cruise line picks the specific room rather than you picking. So this is often cheaper and can even result in an upgraded cabin if they're out of that specific category. Obstructed view cabins are another type of room you can get that will often be cheaper than rooms in the same category. This just means that the view could be obstructed by a lifeboat or other structural views blocking part of the view.
Repositioning cruises are another option for savings. It's when a ship is usually changing ports. For example, they may go from the Caribbean to Europe. And so you'll travel that distance, and it usually is a little bit longer cruise and it's a little bit less per night, but you might have more days at sea. It's great if you have flexible vacation time and you're not looking for a specific date. They usually happen at the end of season. Okay, keep in mind that your flight can't be round trip. You'll end up in a different location than your starting point.
Another way to save on a cruise is to set up alerts that will send you a message when the fare of the cruise goes down below what you paid for it. The reason to do this is if it does go lower, you can call the cruise line and they will often either credit you the difference by onboard credit or they'll refund you. So you can set up alerts on websites like Cruise Critic, Cruise Plum, or other websites like that. If you don't want to do this yourself, a travel agent will often do this for you. So they will watch the prices and they'll get you the adjustment rather than you having to watch the price. So you don't have to worry about it. Joining a loyalty program on a cruise ship is another way to save money. You can often earn free or discounted cruises, and they'll often give you additional perks to save even more money on things like Wi-Fi, specialty dining, or other services. A way to save on board your cruise is some cruise lines will allow you to bring a bottle of wine or 12-pack of soda or water per person or per cabin. So you'll want to check with the cruise line's policy to find out what's applicable for you.
If you drink moderately, purchasing drinks individually can be cheaper than a package. We don't drink alcohol at all, so we definitely save money that way. And we might occasionally order a specialty virgin drink, but it's definitely less just ordering one or two versus the drink package. Sometimes juices and sodas can be included, so just check before booking.
Another way to save on a cruise is to book the excursions yourself. Booking through the cruise line can be quite expensive, but if you book the excursions on your own, you can save quite a bit of money, as much as half or more. For an example, on our next cruise, we are booking an excursion through a third party, and the price is half of what it is to get the same excursion through the cruise line, plus lunch is included. If your funds are limited for excursions, there are a lot of free places you can go near the ports. There's public beaches that are within reasonable walking distance, and there's also a lot to see just around the port itself if you want to go sightseeing. If you can spend a little bit, you may want to take a taxi to a beach. There was one beach we went to where we paid, I don't remember what it was, maybe $25, $35 to go to the beach. And we brought our own snorkeling gear, and we asked, where are the sea turtles? And he pointed out into the water and just said, where all the other people are. We went out there and learned that they had paid a whole bunch of money to go on an excursion to go snorkeling to see sea turtles. when we paid a fraction of their price just for the taxi. So it can save you a lot of money if you just do a little research ahead of time and explore on your own.
Yeah, that was in Barbados. I prioritize the excursions. It's one of my favorite parts about cruising. So I love them. I don't want to skip them, but we have found that, yeah, booking third party can be a lot less. Although on Virgin Cruise Lines, it didn't seem to be that different. Maybe a little bit more, but pretty similar to what it would have been. And so if you are worried about the cruise leaving without you, that's a way to guarantee that they will wait for you if you book through them. We found that a third party is very responsible about bringing you back on time. And we have never had an issue with it, and it is a lot less money. Definitely saves us. We also love just taxiing to beaches, like you said, in Barbados. You know, we just paid the taxi fee to and from, and there's a lot of really reliable taxis. That was one thing we were nervous about at first is, are we gonna make it back, and will they bring us back, and will there be a taxi there? And those pretty popular places all have taxis leaving and coming throughout the day, as well as your taxi driver will pick you back up if you set a specific time.
Yeah, and this is their livelihood, so they're going to make sure that you're not going to leave a negative review. At first, we were thinking, oh, are they going to kidnap us and take our organs? But
I didn't think that. That was him, not me.
Yeah, I watched movies. Well, I was nervous about it, our very first cruise. But after a while and some experience, we learned that they want to do a good job and make sure that you come back.
We were warned in Guadeloupe that sometimes the taxi drivers will take you out and then they'll charge a way bigger price to bring you back. So you may want to have a set price before you go, but really that's the only place I've ever even been warned of. We haven't had trouble anywhere.
Yeah, if you do venture out, it might be a better idea to book through the cruise line there, so you know that they're not going to try to get more money out of you.
Yeah, and I find doing your research before you go pays off. Like we learned about Guadeloupe, we learned about other places that we've been. We've learned what beaches are more to our liking. We pick a place that we want to go. We set a budget long before we leave, so we know what islands do we want big excursions on and what islands can we taxi and just go to a beach and hang out.
Another way to save before your cruise is when you book your airfare. If you do have to fly, it's a good idea to use points or get a credit card that earns points that you can use towards purchasing the plane ticket. And if you're going to spend the money anyway, you might as well get points out of it that can be used to help in the future.
Just make sure you're paying that credit card off monthly or it doesn't really save you. We've also found that we like the free dining on cruises. The buffets are usually pretty good and the restaurants in the evenings are pretty nice. You don't have to spend extra on the specialty dining, but sometimes they do have deals and packages, even freebies, where you can go and do the specialty dining. Some cruise lines offer only specialty dining at no charge. Sometimes too, there's little free snacks around the cruise or maybe even poolside snacks that you can find that aren't in the main areas, and we've enjoyed those as well.
Most cruise lines don't include Wi-Fi in your fare, so it can get a little pricey to purchase it individually. So if you do need Wi-Fi, make sure you're purchasing the package that is appropriate for your needs. Sometimes they may include a certain number of minutes for free. Other packages that you have to pay for could be just for text and email, but no pictures or video. Some could include everything except streaming. So just be aware of your needs and only purchase what you do need, because it does add up since it's a daily charge. If you do need Wi-Fi and it's not time sensitive, you can wait until you go to the ports, because many of the bars and restaurants offer free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I actually enjoy being able to unplug sometimes. It's nice to not have to worry about that and to be able to put your phone down and enjoy your time. There's plenty of free activities on board. There's usually daily cruise guides, apps that help you to find when and where those are. We enjoy some of those sometimes. The trivia, karaoke, even some of the shows we've really liked.
Some cruise lines will have a happy hour time set up to where you can get 2-for-1 drinks or just discounts on drinks. They also will offer spa discounts. The best time to get a discount at the spa is when the ship is at port, because most people will be off the ship, so they'll lower the price to try to get you to stay and purchase the spa packages.
Don't forget about hidden costs such as gratuity and fees. That's something that can be added on at the end of the cruise, and it's usually about $15 to $20 per person per day. So be aware of that. You can also pay it ahead of time and have it paid off before you even go, which helps you to know your budget and what you're going to be spending. Well, some cruise lines let you opt out of that. If you do, I would still consider tipping those that you care about. I know that can be a little controversial. Onboard shops are notoriously expensive. So if you're looking for less expensive souvenirs, you will want to shop outside of the ship. Sometimes we found that the farther away from the port you go, the better deals there can be.
They're more likely to negotiate with you if they don't get as many people as they do right off the ship. So we like to venture on the outskirts. Some cruise lines we've been on, they're pretty aggressive with their photo packages. And they, like, everywhere you go, they want to take your picture. These photos are quite expensive, so we haven't ever opted in for this. If we're trying to save money, you can have other passengers take pictures for you, as long as you don't keep them held up all day. If it's just like a quick, okay, take our picture, then most people will be willing to do that.
We often have people even volunteer, or we trade. We'll take their picture, they take ours. Selfies work too.
If you do want a photo package, it can be beneficial to wait until the last day of the cruise. Sometimes the prices will come down for the last day. So same with spa treatments. If you want a spa treatment, like I mentioned before, the last day deals can often be worth it if that's something you're interested in doing.
Yeah, the spas on board are a lot more than usually spas in your hometown. But I did get a chance to go to one when I had free credit, so didn't pay anything besides tip, which was great.
If you're traveling with a large group, it can save you quite a bit of money to book a group cruise rather than have everyone book the rooms individually. The amount of rooms you need to book vary by cruise line. It could be anywhere from 5 to 10. If you book early enough, you can save as much as 15% on top of any other discounts. So it's something that is quite worthwhile if you have the numbers. Some cruise lines even give free cabins, or one person at least gets a free cruise, depending on how many you have going. Depending on when you book the group cruise, they could offer extra deals like matching the deposit or no deposit, or if you pay the deposit, they could give you a credit. If you have a big group going, then it would definitely be something to look into. You can have this booked through the travel agent of the cruise line, or your own personal travel agent can do it as well. If you're planning on going on another cruise with the same cruise line in the near future, you can book your next cruise while on board. This is another way to save a lot on your next cruise. If you're not sure exactly which cruise you want to go on, they do have an option to purchase vouchers for future cruises, and they usually will match the amount you pay dollar for dollar. So we've done this before on some different cruise lines, and some of them have a time frame where you have to go on the cruise within a certain amount of time, like 3 years, and others don't have that same time frame. But be aware, not all cruise lines will let you use all of the vouchers on the same cruise. So if you bought 4 vouchers, they might only allow 2 at a time per cabin. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, we like taking advantage of that. We've done that several times, and it's definitely saved us.
Cruising on a budget comes down to smart booking, avoiding hidden costs, and making the most of free activities.
What's the best budget hack you've ever used on a cruise? Let us know in the comments below.
Until next time, we'll see you as we travel beyond the dock.
Happy cruising!